guys, Resistance Chicks, January 24th, 2017. What do we have now?
We're going to talk about, we should probably
I'm actually afraid for her to do this because I'm afraid somebody's going to see this and think we're Muslim or something. You guys, I mean, come on.
we're going to talk about the veil.
Hang on, though. As a matter of fact, Leah wore this. This is a scarf. It's a regular old scarf. Got it at the store. She wore this today because it was chilly out, and I said, you know what, isn't it a real shame that they've kind of stolen this from, do you guys remember the 50s when Lauren Bacall in those movies, and she'd wear those beautiful scarves around her?
When you look at, Russians and stuff, do you know why women wear scarves? It is, it's nice to wear something on your head, like a hat. Men used to always wear hats.
Right.
Okay? But you put it over your ears when you're cold.
Right.
Okay, so we are going to talk about the headscarf, okay? And I like scarves. I like to wear them on my head when it's cold outside. It looks so
pretty. You look really pretty right now.
But I don't want a man to tell me that I got to wear it on my head 24/7 and I got to push every daggum hair behind it like this, and if I got one little hair sticking out, I'm going to prison.
You look terrible right
Thank you. But that's what happens. Look, okay, you see this? You see these women? That's what the hijab is. You can't, and this right here, hair sticking out, that's rebellion right now, okay? Okay, so what I'm actually wanting to talk about, this veil and the things like that, and I think if you may have seen our video the other day, I probably should play it again, where American Muslims were having other Muslims or
At
other
the Women's March, they were taking American flag type scarves and putting them on white American.
In fact, when I
people.
go to upload this video, I'll just put that little clip in there so you
Okay.
can see what's going on. But here's the thing: they made these signs. They made one of the Muslim woman, one of a Hispanic woman, and one of the black woman. Then nobody really wants to hold the black woman sign up. You don't really see that one as much with dreadlocks. But I want to talk to you today about an article from a woman in Egypt, from the women in Egypt, how they perceived what was going on. And I'm just going to read her words, and it's going to get a little bit graphic because these are women in Egypt who are dealing with real oppression that our little Women's March women have no idea. They're clueless.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They're dealing with an encroachment of Sharia law, or who is imposing this on them and trying to put this on them?
Egypt is a Muslim country. They're under Muslim rule.
Okay, so is it Sharia law? Do you know?
Yes, they are under Sharia law.
Okay, and so and how long? Do we know how long they've been under that?
For ever.
Okay.
Okay, no. I mean, Egypt's always been pretty much a Muslim country in all of time.
But I just meant, whenever I think of Egypt, I don't know why I don't think of that. That doesn't come to mind. So I'm just wondering.
Well, I think that this picture back here, in the 60s and 70s, there was a transformation. If you Google Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, before the 60s and 70s, before our government pushed through this Islamic fundamentalism in these countries, Muslims were Muslims, but they weren't as extreme, and they didn't push the veil. I mean, you can see them, they're in bikinis, they've got short skirts on. I mean, they were very Western, actually, and a lot of their leaders pushed Westernism on them. Let me just get to this article.
Okay.
While women throughout the Muslim world currently fight to remove the headscarf, women around the Muslim world are fighting to remove this headscarf so they can just do and be themselves. American women are promoting the headscarf. If you see the Muslim women are going around and they're going into schools, they're going into colleges, they've actually set up the Muslim Brotherhood on the arm, the CAR, has put Muslim operatives on every campus inside of the United States, okay? Because they know they need they need support to get Sharia law passed.
Now, I have a question. I hate to interrupt you, but I had seen an article where a woman was allowed to go into a school and put these scarves
on girls in school.
In school. Yeah. And what boggles my mind about that is, do you think a Catholic nun would be allowed to go into a school and put their nice little
rosary beads over them?
Well, not just rosary beads, but they cover their heads too.
They do.
And put that on children. Do you think that they would be allowed to go into a public school
not
and do that?
Okay, so here's the thing. Her question is, are they being foolishly guided by subversive organizations? Due to the time difference here in Egypt, she says she had to stay up all night, 3 different nights, to watch the pre-inauguration, the inauguration, and the post-inauguration activities. Many thousands of Egyptians did the same thing.
Wow.
Every coffee shop with a satellite dish was packed to the maximum, okay, because they don't all have TV. Egyptians were enthralled and impressed by the peaceful process, but also the pomp and circumstance. The coffee shop roared loudly with cheers when Trump said radical Islam will be eradicated from the planet. They don't want radical Islam, all right? We here in Egypt have experienced many terror attacks, and all of us have experienced the death of a friend or a family member who were members of the army or who fight ISIS on a daily basis.
That is insane. Just let that sink in for a minute. That's like back in World War II where everybody knew somebody that had died.
Right. On the third night, as we settled in at a coffee shop anticipating another exciting night of informative news, we instead sat in silence and horror. First, we saw protesters smashing windows and torching cars. Hushed murmuring began all around me as every single Egyptian in the coffee shop could be heard saying the words Muslim Brotherhood. The images we were watching could have been taken right from a street in Egypt. It is exactly what we had experienced on a daily basis for more than a year. Before 2012, the year the Muslim Brotherhood took power in Egypt, no one would ever think of damaging someone's car or business. Egyptians work hard to feed and support their families. It was unheard of to see someone deliberately smash someone else's car or shop and hinder their ability to feed their family. But mobs of Muslim Brotherhood would protest in the streets, ripping apart public and private property and disabling normal activity, just as we were now watching on TV. Some of the protesters even covered their faces in the exact same way the Muslim Brotherhood do. Compounding the upsetting visuals of violence was the police appearing in a quasi-helpless state. You guys all saw this. Again, the words Muslim Brotherhood were mumbled throughout the coffee shop. The Muslim Brotherhood had disabled our police force via accusations of police brutality long before the violent protests began. Via a well-calculated program of propaganda and lies, they were able to make the police force impotent. Police became afraid to stop the protests for fear of being accused of brutality. But how do you stop violence without a bit of violence in return? You can't. Their plan worked and the violent protests continued. During the last 2 weeks, 29 police officers have been killed in Egypt.
Wow.
Once the Muslim Brotherhood put this idea of police brutality into place, police officers became fair game and were killed on a regular basis. Before 2012, killing a police officer was absolutely unheard of. Here is this is a picture of them putting these Muslim women putting the veil on American women. Then on TV, we begin to see video of the Women's March. I can just imagine these women forced to veil themselves. The restrictions in Egypt are great. Honor killings, you name it. The entire coffee shop gasped in disbelief at the vision of American women donning the headscarf. And worse, some of the headscarves were made of the American flag. In Egypt, Muslim women do not desecrate the Egyptian flag by wearing it as a headscarf. You do not wear the national flag as clothing. It would be a desecration of what the flag stands for, national identity and the Constitution, which Egyptians fought hard for in 2013, and the armed forces who protect and serve us. The women in the coffee shop began to get visibly agitated. One said, "We've been fighting to remove the headscarf. Why are these stupid women putting them on?" It was explained on TV that the Women's March was based on a civil rights platform. The women in the coffee shop shook their heads and asked, "Rights? The headscarf will take away your rights," one young woman shouted at the TV.
Wow.
"What are you doing?" She says...
It's ignorance. They don't know.
Now,
they really don't know.
She says, and this is in their religion, the Grand Mufti of Al-Azhar, the highest authority of Sunni Islam, announces periodically that the headscarf is not a religious requirement. Furthermore, anyone who has read the Quran or studied Islam knows this to be true. Though most everyone knows this, women continue to be forced to wear one. There's a lot of crazy thing in the Quran, and that headscarf isn't in there? Come on. And here in front of our eyes were non-Muslim American women donning the headscarf. In Muslim countries such as Egypt, women who do not wear a headscarf are often sexually harassed or attacked. They are beaten, they are raped, and sometimes they are killed. In 2012, when the Muslim Brotherhood took power, there were several attacks on Christian women on trains. They were grabbed, their hair chopped off, and they were pushed off the fast-moving train. They were told they must wear a headscarf even though they are not Muslim. Any country in which the headscarf is imposed, women always suffer from abuses and restrictions. In Israel, headscarves are not opposed, but I believe they are in Palestine. In Egypt, many men buy motorcycles rather than cars in order to save money. It's quite common to see a husband, a wife, and a few children all on the same motorcycle. But the women always ride side saddle. Why? Because Egyptians have been told by imams that a woman who rides side saddle will
who straddles the motorcycle.
Well, yeah, who doesn't ride side saddle will become out of control with lust. Women know this is untrue, but if they straddle the motorcycle, they risk the mob being attacked. This is
being
for real.
attacked by a mob.
Yeah. In Iran, it is against the law for women to ride bicycles for the same reason. ISIS, and this is what boggles my mind, is that you can't ride a bike in Iran, and our American women are marching on the streets.
Because they don't want their feminine napkins or tampons taxed. That's what Ashley Judd said.
ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria have made it a law that women cannot sit on chairs. The men who made this law say the chair will, blah, blah, make them fill with lust. You can't, these ISIS men say women can't sit on a chair.
Where are they supposed to sit?
On the floor. In parts of Sudan, it is against the law for women to wear pants, even loose-fitting trousers, for the same reason. And in 2012, as the Muslim Brotherhood were gaining full control in North Africa, including Sudan, one woman was executed for wearing pants. You want to talk about rights? You can't even wear pants.
It makes me want to go over there and march for women's rights.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? It should. Once these types of restrictions are...
Hang on, I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt you. Because this vision of these giant foam vaginas around these women's faces keeps coming to my mind, and I would like to invite those women one more time, and I've said this before, to go over to these countries wearing their big giant vaginas on their head and see what the Muslim Brotherhood thinks about them then. Okay, carry on. Vagina head.
Stop it! Stop! In most Muslim countries, even Muslim communities in America, the headscarf eventually leads to the full veil. We all know the full veil, where you can't see nothing. Now, it's funny. I think she might get to it, but there's the full veil where you can't see through here, but then there's the veil where you're totally covered, right?
This is fantastic.
You're totally covered from head to toe. But you're allowed to see I have a hair out. I thought it was, you can see out one eye. One eye. How do you breathe?
That's gotta be really disorienting. Are these women tripping up and falling over?
I can't breathe. They're trying to suffocate these poor gals.
No, they're just trying to stifle their sexuality. So says.
You know what? I understand. Okay, here's the thing. I watched the women in Texas. They went braless. They were just running around naked at the protest. The one in Texas.
We got a 311.
I'm not going to show those videos. I'm not even going to do it. And women are afraid. They're burning their bras. Blah blah blah. You can't hold me in. Blah 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 blah. The headscarf. I wouldn't want to burn my scarves. I like my scarves. But if I was in the mother country, we're just gonna burn them all. We're burning them all.
Now hang on, let's see. You got yourself all discombobulated.
Stop. I'm having a moment. Okay, you're telling me I'm out of control. Okay, in most Muslim communities, even Muslim communities in America, the headscarf eventually leads to the full veil because the headscarf leads to the belief that women easily become sexually out of control or they become too tempting. But ironically, once women are veiled, they're seen as hiding their sexuality, and these daggum Muslim perverts go crazy on them. In 2 studies in Saudi Arabia, I cannot believe they're studying this in Saudi Arabia. I'm proud of them for studying this in Saudi Arabia, but listen to this. Found that once veiled, young girls are then seen as sexual, and this sexualization of young girls results in the rise in rapes. 25% of veiled girls between 6 and 12 have been sexually abused in some manner, and 82% of veiled girls have been raped between the ages of 12 and 14.
Hang on, guys. Listen to that statistic. That literally means 82% of all females have been raped.
If they put the headscarf on them in the ages of 10 and 12 and 14, because they don't all do it.
Okay, so they don't all have to start wearing it that early.
Right.
Okay. But if the earlier they wear it,
right,
it increases their chances of becoming raped.
This is what American women should be protesting. This Women's March wasn't about Trump. Trump is being used as a scapegoat for Muslim agenda. Go follow me. This lady says she follows more than 100 Muslim Brotherhood groups in America and also several of their most powerful activists. They were all promoting this Women's March, the Muslim Brotherhoods. The activists, who call themselves community organizers, targeted African Americans and Hispanics, but even more heavily targeted was the LGBT community, pro-choice groups, and vulnerable university students. Why pro-choice? Abortion is illegal in Islam.
We covered this in some videos yesterday.
This what was her name? It slips my mind. Sharon?
Linda.
I always want to call her
I want to call her Sea-Sour.
She's a co-chair. She knows that abortion is illegal. And we covered this. Why? She totally calls it out. We are on the same page, this girl with me. I like her already. I gotta meet this Muslim woman. We could be friends. Okay. Abortions are illegal in Islam. No Muslim woman would dare have one. Yet the Muslim organizers who were promoting this even targeted pro-choice groups. They want American women to have abortions.
Duh.
They want non-Muslim population to be stagnant while their Muslim population grows. Numbers mean
you guys, we covered this once again, but in case you missed this video, Muslims are coming over to America and in countries all over the world, and they are having 8 children per family. They are having 8 children per family. They are having 8 children. That is a statistic. Now, think about all of your American friends.
It's like an average of 1.5 or 1.3.
Dude, of course they want you to have abortions. Of course they want you to
birth control. Take it, girl. Take it.
You guys, and this is what Planned Parenthood,
abortion.
You guys, this is what Planned Parenthood has been about from day one, eliminating the groups that they don't want.
Control.
Guys.
But guess what? Some people want population control and then just want the elite to live, and the Muslims just want themselves to proliferate. I am so proud of this Muslim woman for standing up and telling the truth. Okay.
She's putting her life on the line, really.
Why the LBGT? I'm sorry, I've always had a hard time saying that. It's too many letters. Legit.
Well, now they've added the clears and all that stuff.
According to Islam, homosexuality is a crime punishable by death. Muslims despise homosexuals. Yet the Muslim organizations promoting this event targeted the LGBT community. They stated they were promoting the rights of the LBGT community. I'm sorry, I can't say. They did this to gain solidarity with them. But at some point, the LBGT community will be asked to sign petitions that declare Muslims are being persecuted against, that Muslims suffer from Islamophobia. They need these organizations to sign with them, to get on with them, to get legislation passed. The Muslim Brotherhood organization, CAR, knows that if only Muslim groups petition for Islamophobia laws, these laws will have a chance. But if Christians and Jews and the gay community sign the petitions, they have a good chance of implementing these new Islamophobia laws. Okay?
It's actually CARE. It's pronounced CARE.
CARE. La, la, la. The Muslim Brotherhood organization, the Muslim Students Association, the MSA, targeted university students throughout America to go to this Women's March. The MSA has their fingers on the pulse of this gender identity crisis. They want American youth to be confused and frozen.
Duh.
They want American youth to be non-productive beings obsessed with their civil rights to a safe space and timeouts and Play-Doh and crowns and stuffed animals and toys.
When they feel stress.
They want the young male population that is weakened.
Yeah.
Or with confused female tendencies. Whether real or imagined or transgendered, they want to confuse the American youth so they are helpless and unable to fight. They want to oppress the women and weaken the men. And the rest of America, they are controlling you via the media. Most Americans have been focused on the stupidity of some of the groups some of the goings on at the Women's March, instead of the deviousness of it, they want you distracted so you won't see what is really happening behind the scenes. Very powerful Muslim Brotherhood organizations helped organize and promote this event, targeting very specific groups. No pro-life groups
We're allowed.
And starting, because they know they won't get behind these Islamophobia laws. And starting in 1962, the Muslim Brotherhood placed very powerful people in the media profession to co-opt the media. You see a woman actually, I think, being hung here. And I'm going to put up this link, and you can start to do your other research if you want to. She's got links here to follow. Once you click on one, there's more and more and more, and it gets... I was at the place where I was just getting real sick, so I couldn't read much more of what's going on over there, and what's going on, what's happening. So
Real women's oppression, and under the guise of women's rights and freedoms, these groups and these religions that oppress women are trying to implement that here into America, and we need to wake up. It's really, really vital, and it's really important.
When you see Muslims who've come out of Muslim Christians, like ex-Muslims who've gone Christian or something like that, they scream. We've got a Muslim woman on here. They will just yell at the camera, "America, wake up! America, wake up!" My other video we've got with the bringing God back into America. There's a guy, an Indian guy who grew up in who was in Muslim countries, and he says, "Takar" or something like that. Taki, whatever the word is, it means you can lie to your enemy to their face. So that's what's happening here.
Right.
They're lying to their enemy to their face. They don't want you to procreate. They don't want Americans to have babies.
So our news for you guys is start having babies.
Yay! Have a family. Keep growing.
Have some babies today.
All right. Thanks for watching Resistance Chicks.
I'm really excited about this. I want our viewers to start having babies. Start popping them out. Bam, bam, bam. 8 children. Be Catholic. Or something. All right. Ring the bells. Subscribe to Resistance Chicks and Mass Faith 3. We love you guys. Please leave comments, like, follow us on Twitter, and come back because we've got more for you in a minute.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name. Turned my eyes to the lies.
Bobby, you're so cute.